Alright, so today is not going as planned, but we're still going to get everything done. This is Kara. No, we're not walking out into traffic and dying. 好久不见. 200 好. So at 7-Eleven in Taiwan, you can do your taxes, buy pretty much anything, buy show tickets, print, and Kara right now is using their excellent color printer to make even more stickers, even though she already has a cornucopia of them that she's been working on all day. Alright, so I'm outside the 7-Eleven waiting for Kara to finish printing. The plan from here is that we're going to work on the Hearthstone movie first. I'm going to do the RNG one today, as I think it's the best to tell the story. And then when I'm done doing that, my next plan is to go ahead and start putting together today's vlog episode. Hopefully there'll be something decent behind the scenes I can pull from it. A giant wave of noisy traffic came by right at that moment. Oh, God damn it. Followed by a subsequent secondary wave. So the plan is right now to go get the food, go back home, start working on the Hearthstone video. When that's done, we're gonna finish the vlog. And we're gonna try to sleep at a decent time. Goals. All right, so back there was a woman who, while I had this thing hooked up to the tree, was looking at the camera and then looking at me, and then I don't know if she was fascinated by it or if she wanted to rob me, but it was just getting weird. All right, so first step to making this video, I'm going to be downloading all the other videos I need so that I can edit them. I'm using ccconverter.com or I don't know, just Google it, to download the videos so that I can take them into the editing software and edit them into my own movie. I'm using them to point out some of the different arguments on RNG, how players feel about it, and the different kinds of RNG. RNG, for those who don't know, stands for Random Number Generator. When it's used in a card game or when it's used in something that it's not actually using a random number generator, it's used to express randomness. So what we're talking about is the added element of additional randomness to card games. And where there is obviously certain randomness inherent to card games, Hearthstone adds additional randomness through some of the card effects, some of the different types, and some of the randomness is good and adds spice and variety to each game so that there's not a ton of sameness to your hand and that cards don't always play out in a certain way. But sometimes they've gone too far, and that's a lot of people's points right now. But there's different types of RNG, and my point with this video is kind of to frame those out, to frame out the different arguments, to frame out how different people feel about it, and to explain it in a cohesive way. To do this right is going to require some supplies. Alright, so first thing we're going to need here is some dice. Lots of dice. We're also going to need some cards. In the video itself, I'm going to use the dice to express random rolls that occur throughout the game and how big of an effect they can have on it. And the cards I'm going to use to express the luck of the draw, which is something that's inherent in card games and is kind of unavoidable. At this point, the point of the videos isn't going to be to make a major critique, but rather to point out so that people can understand the different kinds of RNG so that they're not conflating them. And then the broader idea of the idea of the whole video series is going to be explaining from my standpoint as somebody who would like to see the game designed just a little bit differently, the changes I would make to make a more interesting, deeper layered card game that I think would be more enjoyable overall. Before I can talk about really the things that I would want to change, you need to understand where the game is at now and how RNG affects it and how the different kinds of RNG affect it and how some are good for the game and some are bad. Also, I just realized this might not make sense to anyone who hasn't played Hearthstone. Hearthstone is a trading card game. Well, I guess trading card wouldn't be right. It's a collectible card game because you're not able to trade them online with other players. But anyway, in it you assemble your own deck of 30 cards, and that deck can have a variety of different goals, a variety of different ways in order to kill your opponent and different win conditions. Certain decks obviously do better against other decks. It's very creative, it's very interesting, and the only overlying problem with it is that it's just a tad too aggressive, meaning that the aggressor has a very serious advantage where the defender does not. Most of the time. And the problem with that is that a lot of games are decided in the very early stages due to random rolls, due to random cards being drawn, and it's just, there's not as many layers as there could be. And the worst thing about it is that it's such an excellent game with so much potential to be that deep late game oriented card game where people make a variety of decisions both on the micro, in an individual turn, and the macro, decisions that you make for the whole game. And the problem is that the micro decisions right now are so powerful that they don't allow you to get to that late game where you can make the really cool macro decisions. Like, oh, I'm not going to play this card now, I'm going to save it for later because I think it'll be more viable later. There isn't a later a lot of the time. A lot of Hearthstone occurs before you even get to turn 10, before you even get to 10 mana crystals. I feel like the game, card design-wise, is like backloaded for strategy. Like all the heavier cards, all of the mid to late game cards have these really cool, really deep combos, really cool usages, but that we can't build decks that way nor experience the part of the game due to the high level of aggression and due to the factor of early turn rolls. There's a variety of reasons for that, and I'm not going to get into it now. I've already gone way deeper than I ever planned to for the vlog. But that's what I'm working on right now, and I don't know if the video will make it out today, but if it doesn't come out today, it will come out tomorrow. I finished the majority of the prep, but I want to make sure that this doesn't come across in the wrong way. Also guys, the vlog tomorrow is going to be pretty cool. We're going to dive into some cyberpunk stuff, either in the form of Ghost in the Shell Arise, or in the form of Deus Ex, the new one, which is called Mankind Divided, I think? Or Human Revolution. It's one of those. No. Yeah, Human Revolution was the one before. Now we're on to Mankind Divided. And this is really exciting to me because both Ghost in the Shell and Deus Ex are series that I love. They are sci-fi, they are interesting glimpses into a possible future, and they both are very important for their genre. Like Deus Ex was when it came out, the original one was a benchmark game that many people hailed as one of the best games, of that generation. And then later, Ghost in the Shell, the original Ghost in the Shell movie was probably one of the single biggest animations that ever started making anime mainstream that other people got to see. It was released in theaters across the world and was acclaimed to very high accolades. It's also a really interesting film style. Not Arise necessarily, I haven't seen it yet. I think I saw Border 1 a long time ago, but I completely forget what it was about. But the original movie is filmed in a very interesting way. Like the shots, the angles that they choose to animate are very interesting. I could go into it more from a cinematography perspective, but we'll save that for another day. That just happened. Fucking dreams do come true.